Hi everybody, I'm McKeel Hagerty, and I'd like to share with you some lessons I've learned about leadership. These are times of incredible change in the world, and so many of these changes are happening at an exponential rate. For many of us, these changes will provide incredible opportunity. For many of us, we will feel feelings of uncertainty or will be very concerned about some of these changes are happening. The key is to differentiate the difference between changes that are happening at an exponential rate and those that are happening at a linear pace. You see, in my view, the mind typically works in a linear fashion. We like cause and effect. We like things to line up so that we can see one thing affecting things after another. But exponential changes build up on you. They happen sort of slowly, and then boom, that exponential curve takes over, and suddenly they are upon you. I have learned that the leader's job is to make sense of change, both linear change and exponential change. Leaders are the people that have to give context to people around you and people that work for you, your family members, your community members that you're involved with, and to help give that context and create meaning so that people can find themselves either in the changes that are happening or in the success that you create. For the past 17 years, I've been studying leadership. And both in my own organization at Hagerty in the insurance and in the automotive world, as well as my involvement in YPO. In YPO, I've had a unique insight into be able to look under the hoods of many different businesses, both in my industry, in my region, and now in fact around the world. And it has been truly a masterclass in the type of leadership lessons and the type of leadership thinking that I've been able to grow with, and I would like to now share some of those key insights with you. And so the following are 6 leadership traits that I have, I guess, uncovered and that I see happening out there in the world of great leaders. And with each of the leadership traits, I'll explain them, and I also have one or two corresponding questions that leaders should be asking themselves to help frame these leadership traits. Trait number 1 is that the best leaders I have seen are habitual learners. They make learning, not perfect answers, a daily mantra, a daily habit in their lives. It's not that they don't have solid foundations of the things that they believe in or that they know. It's just that they are aware of the fact that their worldview, their knowledge of an industry, their knowledge of a subject can be and likely will be upgraded in these times of exponential change. It's about seeking the perfect questions, not about seeking the perfect answers. In the same way that the best leaders are lifelong learners, they also are constantly seeking feedback about their learning and their performance. And so they're constantly saying, hey, could I have understood this better? Or is there a way that my perspective on this could be improved, whether it's through certain sorts of study or joining a different sort of group, or maybe a simple change in perspective. But it's all about learning and about asking questions. So the 2 questions for this lifelong leadership trait are, I wonder if. It's like the basis of curiosity itself. And it helps you just frame when you think you know something so well. It's just ask yourself, I wonder if there is another perspective. I wonder if there is a better question that I could ask. I wonder if there is a different way for me to think about it. And the second question is, how could I do this better? How could I learn this better? So I wonder if, and how can I do this better? The second trait of the best leaders that I know is that they build trust networks. Now, so this isn't just about having good friends. This isn't just about joining an association. This isn't just about being part of a club. This is about actively and proactively going out and building networks where you are trying to build trust between people who have both similar perspectives to yours as well as differing perspectives with yours. The best leaders actually realize that their worldview can be expanded the most when they find differing perspectives and interact with it in some sort of meaningful way. It also helps when things get difficult that you have somebody that might not share your view. You're not constantly acting in the echo chamber of your own life, but in fact you're actively working to broaden your perspective. The 2 questions for this trust network building characteristic of leaders is, can we talk? Or will you meet with me? 2 simple questions, sometimes very, very difficult to ask, especially if you might be gaining a perspective that is different than your own. The third trait of the best leaders is that the best leaders are great storytellers and are the best at giving context. So what does this really mean? Earlier I said that in a time of exponential change and being very different from the linear worldview that we live in, is that there is a greater and greater need for people to be able to give meaning and context to the changes that are happening around us. And the best leaders do this. They know how to tell compelling stories. They know how to frame difficult situations. They're constantly able to put things in perspective so that it helps people find both the challenges that are really to be faced, as well as potential solutions that might help them out of a circumstance. Think about it simply. Don't think about it even organizationally as just, hey, boss, what does this mean? Or daddy, what does this mean? And that is the key question of this particular leadership trait, which is, what does this mean? The fourth trait of the best leaders that I've seen is that they seek maximum impact. Of course, all leaders have a bias for action rather than just sitting around and thinking about things. But the best leaders know that they need to seek maximum impact. Time is limited, resources are limited. So the best leaders are constantly asking themselves, how can we make this even better? That's the first question of how to seek maximum impact. And the second question is there anything here that we could stop doing so that we can become more effective? That's about maximum impact. The fifth trait of the best leaders I have seen is that they are constantly building others up. Remember, when you become very successful in life, you're always going to be in the spotlight. People are going to be looking to you. They're going to be looking to your performance. They're going to be asking for your perspective. They're going to want to know how you did things. And the real secret, and I think one of the superpowers of the best leaders, is all around this idea of we win most when we build each other up the most. It's all about sharing the spotlight. It's all about constantly helping people find their path to success. Because when you help others find their path to success, success truly comes to you. And the key question about this leadership trait is, how can I help? How can I help make your life easier? How can I help find a way for you to understand this even better? How can I help you become even more successful? That is one of the key components to the best leaders. The sixth trait of the best leaders that I have seen is that they are adaptable and help others adapt. In many ways, this number 6 encompasses all of them because I think it is so important in this time of exponential change. Modern leadership is not about always having the perfect perspective. You've heard me say that. It's not about having the perfect network. It's not about having all of the answers. It's all about asking the right questions. And the only way we can be effective in all of this is that we're adaptable and you help each other adapt. So in so many ways, the sense of how can I sense change? How can we adapt to change? Or what do we need to do? What are the things that we need to employ? What signals do we need to be reading so that we can adapt to this changing circumstance, whether it's in a market or whether it's in your community or even whether it's in your family life? Adaptability is truly a superpower of the best leaders today. And I think there are two core questions of adaptability in a leader, and it starts with how might we? So it's always having that idea of how might we do something better, or is there a different perspective? So how might we? And a related one is how flexible can we be in this? Knowing that you're often never going to have the perfect answer, knowing that you're willing to adapt and you're helping to get your team to adapt to these exponentially changing circumstances will empower you ever more. So those are my observations of 17 years of studying leaders, 6 traits and related questions that you can ask yourself, hopefully on your own leadership journey. I hope you find them useful. Love to get feedback whenever I can. I'm sure that there are many more. This isn't the perfect list in any sense, and only through getting feedback and us elevating some of this through some sort of dialogue can I get better, and I look forward to it. So good luck on your own leadership journey.